Long before chains touched the body, the covenant was broken in the spirit. Leviticus was not written to slaves. It was spoken to a people already free. A nation delivered from bondage was warned how freedom could be lost. Holiness was the covering. Obedience was the shield. But when the laws of Yahuwah were treated lightly, protection quietly withdrew. Leviticus did not threaten destruction. It warned of consequence. It spoke of fear replacing peace, of enemies ruling over their land, of children taken, of labor without inheritance. A people once planted would be uprooted. A people once known would forget who they were. But the covenant will be remembered. History remembers ships, chains, and fields. Scripture remembers covenant violation. Leviticus speaks of a scattered people, serving in lands not their own, under powers they did not choose. Some believe this ancient warning echoes in the suffering of African descendants in the Americas, not as punishment without cause, but as covenant consequence. Names erased, languages stripped, families divided, labor stolen, not because Yahuwah forgot his people, but because his people forgot him. Yet Leviticus does not end in exile. It ends with remembrance. If the people confess their iniquity, if they humble their uncircumcised hearts, the covenant will be remembered. The same law that warned of captivity also promised return. This is not a message of shame. It is a call to responsibility. If the curses sound familiar, then the remedy must also be familiar. Return to my statutes. Return to my Sabbaths. Return to my covenant. The question is not who suffered. The question is who will return. Leviticus still speaks, and the covenant still stands. The covenant is alive, but a covenant ignored is a shadow. The laws of Yahuwah were never burdens. They were guides, paths drawn for a people to remain set apart. Holiness was protection. Obedience was armor. The statutes were fences, guarding the heart, the home, the land. When the children walked freely, they were known by these boundaries. Every command carried weight. Every law carried life. Yet the world whispered. Comfort softened the edge of obedience. Voices said, "You may ignore this, just this once." And the people listened. The hedge began to thin. Freedom became fragile. Memory dimmed. Sacrifice was not punishment. It was acknowledgement, a return to order. The offerings were more than ritual. They were reminders. Blood, grain, oil, incense, and words of prayer. When obedience was abandoned, chains did not appear immediately. Loss began subtly. And still, the law was patient. It did not vanish. It waited for the humble. Every statute is a lifeline. Every command is a light. The same law that warns of captivity also promises return. If the people will remember, the hedge will return. The covenant was never lost. It only waits. Return, obey, remember. Holiness was never a suggestion. It was a boundary, a line drawn between the sacred and the profane. Identity was tied to it. A people cannot know themselves if they walk outside of the law. Separation is not isolation. It is recognition. Recognition of what belongs to Yahuwah and what belongs to the world. When the children strayed, their faces remained dark, but their hearts became light to false desires. Every forbidden act was a fracture. Every neglected statute widened the gap. Exile is not sudden. It is a slow river carrying a people away from their roots. The laws were ignored. Holiness was set aside, and the hedge that once guarded them began to disappear. Generations walked in lands not their own. Names forgotten, languages fading, families fractured, labor unclaimed. Chains came after the heart had already been enslaved. The body followed what the spirit had already lost. Ships crossed oceans. Fields were tilled by hands that once knew freedom. And yet, even in this suffering, the covenant never abandoned them. Leviticus is a mirror. The covenant has waited. It has waited through generations of wandering. The hedge that protected the children of Israel never truly vanished. It only stood silent, watching, waiting, whispering. Return is not easy. It is deliberate. It is a path of recognition, a path of obedience, a path of remembering. The land remembers those who walk in covenant. Rivers, trees, and mountains hold their history. Every stone, every seed, every breath carries memory. Obedience restores the lost. Memory revives the fallen. The law is not punishment. It is life. It is armor against deception. It is light in darkness. The children of Israel were once enslaved, their bodies chained, their labor stolen, their names forgotten. But even then, their spirits clung to what was holy, even in foreign lands. The law spoke through song, prayer, and tradition. And now the call is clear. Return, obey. Remember, the land will open to you. The hedge will rise again. The covenant will walk among the faithful once more. Do not look to others to restore it for you. Do not wait for mercy from those who never knew the law. The power of return rests in your obedience, your recognition, your remembrance. This is the path of the children of Israel, the path of those who heed the law, the path of those who survive exile, the path of restoration. Return, obey, remember, the covenant endures, and those who embrace it will walk in life, not shadow.